All right, good afternoon. Welcome to the Training Bureau here at 53. This afternoon we're going over some equipment. This is more of an informational video for you as a refresher if you've already been issued this gear or in case you're being issued new bunker gear in the very near future. A few years back we made a move toward having our own personal bailout kits for each person, and when that came into play we also changed over to a different harness within our gear. So some people are not quite familiar with how this belt is supposed to fit within their harness, what's the best way to adjust it, what's the best way to lay it across the front of their bunker pants, and also people have expressed a concern in what's the best way to pack their bailout kits so that it deploys properly during that possible incident of use. So we're going to cover these two items today. There's a couple little tricks and intricate things that we're going to show you, but otherwise it's pretty straightforward. All right, so the first thing we're going to go over is how to properly install the harness into the shell of the bunker pants. As you can see, we've already removed the inner liner as well as the suspenders to make our life a little easier in installing the harness inside the shell. First thing we're going to do is lay the harness across the outer portion of the shell of the pants. And what this allows us to do is easily wrap these exterior belt retainers without having to fight the pants too much. Now once we've got the majority of the back portion secured, before we secure the front, we're going to go ahead and slide our leg harness in. Now you'll see when they give you a new set of bunker pants, you'll have this leather type cover that goes over the buckle. This is designed to prevent us from wearing holes through the outer shell as well as damaging the vapor barrier from the inner liner. If you have an older set and were never issued these or you've lost yours, just send a little request to logistics and get a new set. This is going to prolong the life of the shell, but more importantly, it's going to prolong the life of the liner, which you don't see every day. And without this cover on the outside, you may not know that you've damaged the inner liner or the vapor barrier of your bunker pants. On the outer shell, you have an opening right here, and that's where we're going to slide our leg loop through. I suggest leaving it in a larger position to begin with, and we'll adjust that later in the fitting process. Anytime we are hooking a retaining loop that is the same material as the bunker pant, it's designed to go against the lowest portion of the belt. What they don't want us to do is encapsulate the entire belt with this outer shell retaining loop. And the reason for that is this Velcro is going to require more force to deploy the bailout pack than those Velcro straps will allow. So make sure you have the front part of the harness completely opened up so that we can attach the base portion of the belt to those retaining loops. Just so there's no confusion also, some people have asked, what is this front tab here for? Okay, these bunker pants, this strapping system is designed for multiple styles of waist belts. The way ours is designed, on the right flap, we do not use this loop. We're only going to be using the retaining loops that are larger. And the reason is because this is a personal escape setup and not simply a ladder belt. And for the right side of the pant, this is basically a proper setup we have here. Now, we need to secure the outer portion of our bailout harness. One of the ways I found the simplest way to do this is open up all the black straps. Now these are the ones that are designed to pull away or break away as you deploy your bailout pack. So I found if we simply lay it all the way over, we can secure the first one. This second one that comes in line is not necessarily in use for this application the way we're laying it out. We'll have a third Velcro strap further down the way, which will leave us just a tail. Okay, and now when we put our bailout pack in, that tail can swing down and hook up to our bailout harness. So for the right side of the shell, this is how it should look. And you can see if I take it apart, it's just two straps that hold it in place. So it's a lot less confusing than some people think. You also have this extra small tail, which we can attach to this portion of the harness, and it simply just kind of holds it and retains it for us while we're getting everything set up. Okay. Now for the left side of the harness, same thing with the leg loop. Leave it in a larger position or a position that you feel might have been comfortable if you already tried it on prior to putting them on. Now, I will say something you can do is the first time you go to adjust the length of your harness, put just the shell on and then put the harness over just the shell, and that can give you a good idea of what length you want the leg loops to be at. And then once you get this process all finalized and you're in the final assembly portion, you can fine tweak the size of the leg loops. Okay. Now, on the left side, this is the side that we will use this flap that we did not use on the right side. And the intention of that flap is to retain the clip against the pants. So this slider right here is what we're going to capture within that Velcro. Push it through the top, back into the bottom, and secure it to the pants. From there, we'll simply use this last retaining loop to give us an outer securing of the belt. And this is the basic look we should see for the installation of our belt. Okay, so once we've got the harness properly installed to the shell of the pants, and we feel that we have the leg straps adjusted at an appropriate loop for our size, we'll go ahead and put our liner back in, which is pretty simple. My only piece of advice is make sure you have any twists or kinks taken out of the harness, as these newer bunker pants do not have an inner thigh retention loop like our old pair of pants, which would hold the thigh loop in place. So you just gotta be a little more cautious putting your inner liner in. And once we have all our waist snaps secured and we have our stirrup straps secured near their ankles, then the bunker pant assembly has been complete for the inner liner, the outer shell, as well as the escape harness ladder belt combination. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do with the rope when we're gonna pack into the pants is we're gonna tie our stopper knot so we don't forget to tie it. It's simply a figure 8 stopper, wrap it back around itself, and that's all we need to do. And like I said, the whole intention of this is so that if we ever were to use this device and we came to the end of the service line, the line would catch inside of our descender and not pull through the device all the way and have us fall further down. Once you've got that knot in place, my suggestion to you is just put it along the side of the pocket and get an idea of the width of the pocket, create a bend point, so now you know the size of the bundle that you want to put in the pocket. And when we make this bundle, we're just going to bend it back and forth on itself. We're not wrapping around our hand, and we're packing it this way, kind of like a flat load or like a trash line in the front of the truck. And the whole intention of that is so that we know that when we have to use this line, it's going to deploy out properly, and it's not going to pull back over itself in any way like you would if you had it wrapped. And that'll prevent us from having any twists or knots forming inside the rope as it deploys. So right here, I got about 6 or 7 loops in my hand. It's comfortable in my hand, and I can go ahead and I can pack that down into the bottom of the pocket. And then I'm simply going to pick up where I left off, get an idea of how long it is, make another bend point, and I'm going to do the same thing again. And I'm going to repeat this until we've got all the rope packed up to about the last 12 or 18 inches of rope. Okay, so I just finished putting the last bundle of this 50-foot section of rope into the bailout pouch. So the next thing we're going to go ahead and do, just lay your hook on top of the pocket and go ahead and make your carabiner connection. Once you make that connection, make sure we screw it down and lock it in place. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and secure that pouch cover we were talking about. And what that's going to do now is that that's going to separate the rope from the descending device. Lay the descending device inside the pocket and tuck the hook into the hook pouch or retention area there. From this point, that small side strap that I was talking about can be used to go through the carabiner and secure to the pocket. Now I have a little extra slack here. This last bit of slack we can just tuck back into the top, and it's going to fill in just like we had done before. We would like the knot or this stitched in loop at the end of our hook to be as close to the descending device as possible, and you might remember that from bailout classes. And the reason for that is it allows us the most options off the bat. If we were have to do a sill hook to bail out of the window, we don't want any slack in our device. In our demographics and our construction down here in South Florida, that's not a very common tactic, but we'd still rather pull rope than try and feed rope back in. So we always set it up in that manner. Plus, it'll keep a nicer and neater bailout pocket for us. From that point, all we're going to do is we're going to snap on our cover, Velcro it into place, secure it down, and your finished product should look something like this. So that concludes the installation of the harness as well as the bailout system into our integrated bailout pockets on our new sets of gear. If you have any concerns or questions moving forward with this equipment, don't be afraid to contact the Training Bureau or any of your shift training captains. Most of them are well versed in this topic and can point you in the right direction. I will say that we don't get to train on bailout enough within our agency just due to all the other items we have to train on a regular basis. However, it doesn't mean you can't prepare for the bailout on your own. So get out in your firehouses, use it as a company drill for the day, get your systems out of your pockets, hook up to anchor points, feel how the system feels when you're trying to move across a room or a space, feel how the rope moves through the device, go over some of the high points of identifying need to perform a bailout, and just get your hands on the equipment. You'd be surprised the benefit it'll make if the time comes when that muscle memory has been created for a situation like this. We appreciate your time. Have a good day.